Hello and welcome to the Academy of Modern Martial Arts and our step-by-step Tai Chi instruction. Today we're going to be taking a look at movement number 19 of the 24 movement form, needle at sea bottom. Remembering that Fair Lady works the shuttle are two of the movements in the form that actually go out at 45-degree angles. Needle at sea bottom is a movement that is going to take us from the 45-degree angle we were at on working the shuttle to the left, where our hips are at this 45, this movement is going to bring us back to being square in line with where the form originally began and the lines we were using, the right angles we were using in the form. So finishing with working the shuttle to the left, we're going to push through, we're going to look at that rear foot, and we're going to use the pushing out of that heel to push this right hip forward and let that turn your whole torso just a little bit more to the right and continue to bring our weight from centered in between both legs to over that left leg. So we're here, the push and the slide forward. We're going to then, with our weight on top of that left, we're going to turn back, drawing the right leg up in the half step, continue over to the right, bring the right hand over the left, and re-square up to the center of the room and the original line we were working on. One more time. So from working the shuttle to the left, I'm going to push my weight forward and onto the left, draw the empty right up, move back onto that right and empty the left, coming out of that heel, pointing the toe and the right hand down at the floor, while the left hand has come across the body and resides over here around the waist. As relatively short and simple as needle at sea bottom is, let's take a closer look at the footwork. So again, we began at that 45-degree angle for working the shuttle, and we're in a nice long bow stance. Our weight's relatively close to 50-50. We're going to push through the right toes. As we come out of that heel, allow the toe to push the right hip forward, and you're going to let your right hip lead the left as we bring our weight over. To the best of our ability, let's try and avoid, again, the leaning and taking the torso off angle, but rather keep that torso upright, bring the hips forward and rotate to the left. So I push forward, allow that right hip to come in front of the left, and so this rotation and slide forward occurs, emptying the rear leg. We draw the rear leg up, and then we corkscrew back down into the right leg, rotating into that right, emptying the left, picking it up, and setting it down. And so we've gone from being aimed at a 45 to being back at that right angle we begin the form with. Now adding the hands from working that shuttle, we're going to slide forward, pushing that weight. The right hand comes across the dantian or your navel. The left hand stays at face height and rotates across the body. Come across. Right hand essentially jumps over where the left was as we come down to the center. And we've changed. You'll notice that this movement puts a lot of pressure on that right leg as we transition from that 45. The pressure moves initially and rather briefly onto the left leg. We push through that right heel, turn the hip, and our weight moves on top of the left. Empty right leg comes up. Again, that's a coalesce through the body. We're going to turn back, rotate onto the right leg, come out of that left, bring that to the center, and all of the weight is here on the right leg. Again, in other variations of this form, you can find yourself sinking down until your hips are level with your knee. However, this height is just fine and will suffice for our version of the form. Push out of that right heel and bring that. You can see that as we come out of the right heel, you can see that that right hip moves forward and the weight moves further onto that left leg. We're going to draw that empty right leg up, cross back across the center, and reestablish ourselves at the original right angles of the form. Just looking at the footwork from this angle, we were at that 45. We're going to push out of the hip, draw the right foot up. We're going to turn back onto the right foot, empty the left, and come out of that foot, just leaving the toe on the floor for a moment, just so we can see one more time from this side, working the shuttle, pushing the hip forward, coming across the center, blocking, coming through, needle at C bottom. Again, while needle at C bottom is a relatively short and simple movement, it can be practiced at whatever height challenges your legs while keeping you safe. We hope that you enjoyed our lesson today and that you found something valuable. Until we get to see you next time, take care.